Hello, I'm Evelyn, and I'm 45 years old. Right now, I run my own business in interior design, and it's pretty great. But the journey to get here wasn't easy. I started this business after my first husband passed away, and life hasn't always been kind to me. But I kept going. 2 years ago, I thought I got lucky when I married Roberto Carter. He's a charming man who lost his wife and has a teenage daughter named Melissa. But blending families is really hard, especially since I have a respiratory condition that requires me to carry an oxygen tank at all times. One day, Roberto asked, "Evelyn, are you sure you're okay with this?" I told him I run my business with this oxygen tank, Roberto. I can handle a teenager. I tried to sound confident, but, God, I was so wrong about Melissa. She was cold and always had something rude to say. "Nice oxygen tank, Evelyn. It really goes well with your shoes," she sneered sarcastically. I tried everything to bond with her. Shopping, cooking together, even offering to redecorate her room. But nothing worked. "I don't need your help," she snapped when I suggested updating her bedroom. Roberto tried to help, but he was always traveling for work and didn't see how bad things were. "Can't you two just get along?" he asked before leaving on another trip. Then strange things started happening. My work documents disappeared, only to end up in the trash. Items from my studio vanished and later showed up in odd places. One night, I asked Melissa about a missing file. "Melissa, have you seen the Johnson file? It was on my desk." She gave me a cold stare. "Maybe you should keep better track of your things, Evelyn. It's not my fault you're getting forgetful." I was angry but stayed calm. "Melissa, I'm trying to make this work. Can't we at least be polite to each other?" She just rolled her eyes and walked away. That's when I started doubting myself. Was I really becoming forgetful? Was the stress of my illness making me imagine things? Then Roberto told me he was leaving for a 2-week business trip to Asia. A chill ran down my spine at the thought of being alone with Melissa for that long. "You'll be fine, baby," Roberto said, kissing my forehead. "It'll be a great chance for you two to bond." As I watched him drive away, Melissa appeared beside me with a strange smile. "Just you and me now, Evelyn," she said. "This should be fun." I forced a smile, but deep down, I was terrified. I had no idea things were about to get even worse. The first few days after Roberto left felt like walking on thin ice. My breathing got worse, and I started using my inhaler more often. Something felt wrong. One morning, I woke up struggling to breathe. I reached for my oxygen tank, but even with the mask on, I couldn't catch my breath. Panic set in. "Melissa," I called, my voice shaking. "Can you come here for a second?" She walked in looking annoyed. "What now?" "I don't feel well. Can you call Dr. Thompson for me?" She rolled her eyes. "Can't you do it yourself?" "I'm busy." When she left, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was seriously wrong. I decided to take action. I called my friend Jack, who works in security. "Hey Jack, I need a favor. Can you help me install some hidden cameras?" "Of course. Everything okay?" "I hope so," I said. "Just in case." The next day, while Melissa was at school, I installed hidden cameras throughout the house. I felt a little guilty, but I needed to know what was really going on. It didn't even take 2 days for the footage to reveal something horrifying. There was Melissa, clear as day, playing with my oxygen tank. My heart nearly stopped when I saw her swapping out my oxygen for a different tank. "Oh my God," I whispered, my hands shaking as I rewatched the video. I wanted to confront her immediately but stopped myself. I needed more proof if I was going to accuse my stepdaughter of something this serious. Over the next few days, I pretended like nothing had changed while secretly gathering more evidence. That's when I checked my business accounts and noticed something was wrong. Money was missing, and all signs pointed to Melissa. Then my clients started calling me. "Evelyn, are you okay? We heard you're closing your business due to health problems." I froze. "What? Who told you that?" "Your stepdaughter called and canceled our meeting. She said you were too sick to keep working." I was furious but kept my cool. "That was a mistake. I'm still running my business." Digging deeper, I found even more lies. Melissa had been telling Roberto that I was mistreating her, making up stories about me locking her out of the house and not feeding her. How could he believe this? I muttered, reading their messages. Then, one night while working late in my studio, I overheard Melissa on the phone. "Yeah, baby, everything's ready. When Dad comes back, we'll make it look like an accident with her oxygen tank. No one will suspect a thing. It'll just seem like her illness finally caught up with her." I covered my mouth to keep from gasping. This wasn't just teenage rebellion. This was a plan. To kill me. With shaking hands, I reached for my phone. I needed to call for help. But who could I trust? How could I stay safe until someone arrived? I heard Melissa's footsteps coming closer and quickly pretended to be asleep at my desk. My heart pounded so hard I was sure she could hear it. "Sweet dreams, Evelyn," she said in a sickly sweet voice as she passed by. "Hope you feel better tomorrow." I knew I wouldn't sleep that night. I had to stay alert, stay alive, and find a way to expose Melissa before it was too late. The next morning, my mind was racing. I picked up my phone and dialed a number I hadn't used in years. "Sarah, it's Evelyn. I need your help." Detective Sarah Thompson was my old friend from college. We hadn't spoken in years, but I knew she was the only person I could trust. "Evelyn? You sound awful. What's going on?" I took a deep breath, my voice shaking. "Sarah, I'm in danger. My stepdaughter is trying to kill me. An oxygen tank, missing money, and a troubling phone call about the target on my life." Sarah listened attentively, occasionally asking questions for details. "Oh my God, if this is serious, we need to set a trap. Can you hold on for a few more days?" she asked. I nervously looked at the door, feeling the weight of the situation. "I think so, but please, Sarah, hurry." After hanging up, I called my lawyer, Michael. "I need you to freeze my business accounts and put extra security measures in place. Keep this between us. Don't tell Robert or anyone else." With these steps taken, I prepared to continue pretending that everything was normal around Melissa until Sarah could organize the operation. "Good morning," Melissa greeted me as I entered the kitchen. Trying to sound cheerful, I responded, "Good morning." She barely glanced up from her phone. It didn't matter. For the next few days, I played the role of someone unaware, while Sarah's team installed more cameras and listening devices throughout the house. The tension was suffocating, but I had to stay calm. One afternoon while Melissa was at school, Sarah called me with news that shook me to my core. "We dug into Melissa's boyfriend, Jake. He's involved. We think they've been using your business for money laundering." I felt the ground disappear beneath me. "What? How is that even possible?" "The missing money from your accounts. It's being laundered through a series of shell companies. Melissa is helping them from the inside," Sarah explained. I felt sick. How had I missed this? But the worst was yet to come. That night, I overheard Melissa talking on the phone again. "Jake calm down. I've done this before, remember? It worked with my mom. It'll work with her too. I froze, feeling a cold chill spread through my body. Melissa had killed her own mother. I quickly called Sarah. We need to act now. Melissa is trying to kill me. She also killed her mother. Sarah's voice was serious. All right, we're ready. Tomorrow night, we'll catch her in the act. The next day felt endless. Every time Melissa looked at me, I worried she could see my fear. When night fell, I went to my bedroom, pretending to get ready for bed, but in reality, I was wearing a hidden microphone. My heart pounded in anticipation. Around midnight, I heard footsteps in the hallway. This was it. The door creaked open, and Melissa entered, holding my oxygen tank. I pretended to be asleep as she moved closer. Suddenly, the lights flashed on. Freeze! Police! Sarah shouted. Melissa screamed and dropped the tank. At that moment, another voice rang out. What the hell is going on here? It was Robert, standing in the doorway, his face full of shock. Before anyone could answer, Melissa tried to jump out the window. Sarah moved quickly, grabbing her and pinning her to the ground. The sound of handcuffs clicking shut echoed in the room. I finally exhaled. The nightmare was over, but the consequences were just beginning. I looked at Robert's shocked face, knowing our lives would never be the same. The next few hours passed in a blur of flashing police lights, sirens, and endless questions. Sitting on the edge of my bed, wearing an oxygen mask, I watched everything fall apart. Robert paced back and forth, looking pale and shaken. I don't understand. Melissa, how could you do this? He asked, his voice trembling. Now handcuffed and surrounded by officers, Melissa coldly looked at him. You never understood anything, Dad. You were always too busy with work to see what was really happening. I nodded, taking a deep breath before speaking. I have everything recorded, her tampering with my oxygen tank, the theft, the lies, and her conversation about her mother. Robert's head shot up, his face pale with shock. What? What about Caroline's death? I couldn't look at him. Robert, Melissa said she was responsible for her mother's accident. The room fell silent. Even the officers stopped, absorbing the weight of what I had just said. Soon they caught Melissa's boyfriend, Jake, trying to escape. When they led both of them away, Robert turned to me, his face full of guilt. Evelyn, I'm so sorry. I had no idea. How could I have been so blind? I felt a mix of pity and anger. You chose not to see, Robert. You left me alone with her. You ignored my concerns. You believed her lies. He reached out to me, his eyes pleading. Please, Evelyn, we can get through this. I love you. I pulled my hand away, feeling strangely calm. No, Robert, we can't. I can't trust you anymore. I want a divorce. The next few months were chaotic. Melissa's trial was all over the news. She was sentenced to 25 years in prison for attempted murder, fraud, and her role in her mother's death. Her boyfriend got 15 years for his involvement in the crime ring. Robert lost his job due to the scandal, and I heard he was facing bankruptcy. As for me, life has a way of getting better, even after the hardest times. My clients supported me, and the unwanted publicity led to new opportunities. I expanded my business, hired more employees, and even opened new offices in New York and Los Angeles. 5 years have passed. Now here I am, breathing easily after a successful lung transplant, ready to accept the Businesswoman of the Year award. And now please welcome to the stage, Evelyn Carter. As I walk onto the stage to accept the award, I see a familiar face in the crowd, Robert. He looks older, grayer, watching me with sad eyes. I heard he reached out last month, asking for a chance to make things right. I never responded. I step onto the stage, smiling as applause fills the room. Thank you, everyone. This award isn't just for me. It's for everyone who has faced challenges and come out stronger. Later, at the after party, Sarah finds me. Great speech. You know, after everything you've been through, most people would be bitter. But look at you. You're funding lung disease research. You're amazing. I smile, looking at the city lights. Life is too short for resentment, Sarah. I've learned that firsthand. All we can do is move forward, improve ourselves, and not let toxic people win. As I raise my glass for a toast, a sense of peace washes over me. The nightmare is over. I didn't just survive. I thrived. And the future, it looks brighter than ever. Question for you. If you were in Evelyn's place, would you give Melissa a second chance after her apology from prison? Or do you think some actions are truly unforgivable? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion might help someone struggling with forgiveness. If you enjoyed this story of resilience and justice, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories. Your support helps us share these important narratives.